And then, okay. So today is our third and final day learning about circles. And we're going to start off with a homework review. So these were the questions that were most commonly missed. We're going to start off with this one. So solve for x. X is an inscribed angle because its vertex is on the edge of the circle, as you can see here. And an inscribed angle, the measure of the inscribed angle is half of this arc that it covers. So the answer will be 51 degrees. Okay. Now for this one, what is the measure of angle A? So like it says helpfully right here, ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral. So type in the chat, what do we know about cyclic quadrilaterals? Or you can just say what you got for A. All right, does anyone remember?
It's 79 because in a cyclic quadrilateral. Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure in any quadrilateral, the opposite angles add up to 180 degrees.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The answer is 79, so good job. It does have to be a cyclic quadrilateral, so that means that all the points have to be on the edge of the circle. But other than that, you're exactly right. So thank you. The answer here would be 79 because A plus C adds up to 180 since they're on opposite sides. And then since C is 101, we know that A has to be 79 degrees. All right, I drew this one out below because the picture is a bit hard to see. But the question says, if the area of this circle is 25 pi, find the area of triangle ABC. So if the area of the circle is 25 pi, type in the chat, what would the radius be? So the area is 25 pi. Yeah, okay. In the chat, you guys are saying 5. So you're correct. The radius of the circle is going to be 5. And that means that the diameter is going to be 10. So the diameter is also the hypotenuse of this triangle. And then we know that this is going to be a right triangle because one of its sides is the diameter. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to find that this last side equals 10 squared minus 6 squared. So that's 100 minus 36, which is 64, which is 8 squared. So now we know all the sides of the triangle, but we have to find the area. Yeah, that's right, Anushka. So the answer here would be 24 because that's 1/2 times 8 times 6. All right, so if you have any questions, go ahead and ask now. Okay. So if not, we're going to again do, okay, so sorry, the agenda.
Okay, so we are going to be covering perpendicular bisectors within circles and powerful point. So today we're going to be learning that through a Desmos activity. So if everybody could go to student.desmos.com, we will type the code in the chat. Okay, I will
Okay, yeah, you typed the code in the chat. So go ahead and join, and I will set a pace.
Sorry, that is the wrong link that I just sent.
Yeah, so just go ahead and click the link and then join this Desmos.
Okay, make sure to click on the second link. That is the right one.
Yeah, so if you clicked on the first link, go back, click the one that says WZQ66M. Okay, so I see you guys making your way in. So go ahead, you have about, say, 10 minutes to do these first 7 slides, and then we'll go over them. All right, we're gonna learn about perpendicular bisectors. And
Wait, I'm confused. I have both the links opened and they're both the exact same.
Yeah, they are the same. However, the first one, we don't have access to the, or sorry, not we don't have access. What's it called? The dashboard. It's for both class 1 and class 2. So we don't want to, mix up, the
Okay,
answers.
I did
Yeah.
not realize. Also, Shawnee, you're really glitching out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like your screen is turning green on my thing.
like her picture?
Yeah, like her video is turning like purple and green in some areas, and it's just really glitching in and out.
Well, I'm not having any problems with it.
Yeah, but it's on my screen and it's very
Okay.
noisy.
If it's distracting, then just like try to minimize the speaking window thing.
I don't know why, but mine's good. Mine's perfect. Doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What's the link?
It's the second one that's in the chat. So the one that,
I joined late, so the link isn't there. Can you post it again?
oh yeah. Okay. Here it is. Yeah, or we put it in the chat. Yeah. Okay, so just we have 7 slides that you can see at the moment. So go through them, and yeah. So you have 10 minutes. Well, around 8 minutes now.
Yeah, for slide 3, you don't need to write anything. You can just say like, I understand.
For slide 7, for the circle that has for the circle with the Z line, what would you do there?
You can use like a fraction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good question. All right, we'll give you guys 2 more minutes, so start wrapping up. Did you have a question? Or was that just like an accident? Okay. I'll assume that was unintentional. All right, let's go ahead and go through this section. So we're going to say goodbye to these adorable cats right here. Okay. So what do you notice as you drag the orange points? Well, the most important thing to notice is that this segment right here and this segment right here will always have the same length as each other. You see now they're both 1.52, now they're both 3.64, and then the same goes if you drag B around. All right. So the reason this works, chord BC, which is this right here, it has been bisected. So it's split into 2 equal parts by the diameter DE. And then these 2 lines are perpendicular to each other. So that's why there's a 90-degree angle between them. The rule is that if a chord is perpendicular to a radius, diameter, or just any segment that passes through the center of the circle, then that chord is bisected. So it's split into 2 even halves. But if the angle is not 90 degrees, or if the line segment does not pass through the center of the circle, then this rule does not apply.
Okay, so write an expression describing the relationship between the line segments A, B, C, and D. Use what you learned in class about inscribed angles and the property of similar triangles. So you should have gotten that A times B is equal to C times D. And this is, so you can see it in an example right here. You'll see that 4.7 times 4.04 is approximately equal to like 18.98 or wait, 4.7 times 4.04 is around 18.988, right? And then when you do 3.19 times 5.95, you'll see that you get 18.9805, right? So those are approximately the same. Remember that Desmos rounds the numbers on the screen, so your answer won't be completely exact. However, given that, because they're rounded, if you actually had the exact measurements, you would get them to equal each other. So this property is called power of a point. So AB times CD is power of a point. And this property is helpful when you have two chords that intersect each other in a circle. Remember, this property only works if both of them are chords, if both of the lines are chords, meaning that their endpoints lie on the circle, and also they have to be intersecting. So they have to have a point that joins them inside the circle, a point where they both meet inside the circle. So for practice, you have to find the values of x, y, and z. So using our property for x, 9 times x is equal to 3 times 6. You divide both sides by 2 and you get 18 over 9. You divide both sides by 9 and you get 18 over 9 is 2. And then for y, you set up a similar equation. You get y times 2 is equal to 4 times 3, or 4 times 3 is y times 2, and you get 12 is equal to 2y, so you divide both sides by 2 and get y is 6. Then you do the same thing for z, and you get 3 times z is equal to 4 times 2, meaning you get 3z is equal to 3z is equal to 8, so you get 8/3 for z.
Okay, so does everyone understand how this one, AB times CD, works, and how the other one works, where you have a chord that's bisected by something that passes through the center of the circle, and that results in these two being the same length? All right, does anyone have any questions about either of those concepts? Okay, if not, then we'll let you free.
Is it okay if I did that on so for Z I just wrote 2.6667 or something like that. Is that okay as well? Because I didn't know it had to be in fraction.
It's fine here. So like if it's an actual problem, it will probably say like state your answer as a common fraction or something. So
Okay, just wondering.
yeah, perfectly fine here, but just make sure in the future.
Yeah, also,
just-
if it ever tells you give the exact answer and it's a fraction, you always want to give a fraction unless it says like give your exact answer as a decimal, right? Like if it were like 5/2, you'd give 2.5 in that scenario, right? But for examples like these, you would want to put the fraction.
All right, so you guys can go on to slides 8, and then also give you one problem slide, which is 12, to work on. So again, we'll give you about 10 minutes, but if people seem to be finishing earlier than that, then we'll stop it early and explain. And if you're confused at any point, reference back to slide 9, which has all of these formulas that can help you.
For slide 10, how would you find out what times what would be 7.68?
Okay,
I mean,
so
I'm guessing you probably could with enough time, but like it'd probably take a while.
you're talking about the second problem, right?
Colin, I did it, and are you talking about the first one, Colin? The X?
Yeah, the one
How would you, okay, so just plug in the values. Okay, so C, you just plug in the values, Colin.
What do you mean?
Okay, so the formula for finding A would be A times A times A plus B. You know what B is, so just take away those values from 17. Okay, subtract, so just try subtracting B from 17 point, what was it, 17, whatever that number was.
No, the second one, the solve for y.
Oh, Y? If you're talking about Y, just square it.
Yeah, but like,
Colin, just square what B times B plus C is. Because it
no,
says A equals B times A
but
equals A times A equals B times B plus C. So you just kind of square it.
wait. Speed.
All right. Would you like for us to just go over it?
Oh wait, I looked at the equation wrong. I thought it was a squared equals b.
Oh, okay. All right. Good job for figuring it out between you guys.
Okay, okay, so you have 5 more minutes. So, we will be playing music in the background. So in the chat, type whatever song you would want to play. Make sure it's not like explicit or inappropriate or something like that.
Because this is a kid thing.
Yeah.
Wait, so I tried what it said. Well, I tried with the formula and I got 21.0432. Is that supposed to be right?
For number 10, Yolanda, can you?
I'm not putting on Bad Habits. That's like the most explicit song you could think of.
What explicit?
Good
Okay.
try.
Okay, for Yolanda, can you put on question number 10 on the screen?
Okay. All right. We can
Okay, I can do this one.
Beethoven. I like that suggestion. We can put on Beethoven. All right. But I think we'll explain this first. Okay, wait, hang on. Let me open it up.
Beethoven. Dude.
So for this one, we get y squared. Okay, that's a thick marker. Is equal to 2.74. So 2.74. And then remember that we're multiplying it by the entire length of this thing, right? We're multiplying it by 4.94 plus 2.74. So doing mental math, you get 7.68, right? So 2.74 times 7.68 is equal to 2.74, right? So you should see that this is like around 14, 15-ish. Like it's going to be slightly higher, right? So your answer should not be like, it should not be very huge, right? So you do 2.74, okay, so 2.74 times 7.68, wait, sorry, times 7.68, and, okay, sorry, 2.64 times 7.68 is equal to 20.2752. So we find the square root of that. And so we should know that this is going to be less than 5, right? So it's around 4.50279913. So you could just put 4.5 as your answer. And yeah, that is what you should get.
Wait, isn't it 2.74, not 2.64?
Yeah, it is. I wrote 2.74.
I think. Wait. Oh, I don't know. Like, I think you said 2.64, not 2.74.
No, because we're adding 2.74 and 4.94. 2.74 plus 4.94 is equal to 7.68, right? So that's probably where you heard this say, right? So you do that times 2.74, and you find the square root of 21.0432, right? And then you will get 4.5, okay, I don't know what I did earlier, but the answer is approximately 4.587. So, yeah. So yeah, you should have gotten around 4.587 as your answer.
All right. So about the music thing, I love how you guys are having an argument. I think we'll put on one pop song and then we're going to do some kind of piano or instrumental thing, okay?
Instrumental, the good old noise music.
Do we have an agreement on what pop song we want? I don't think we do. Feel It Still Portugal Man. Okay, you know what, Shani? Pick one at random.
Habit is not too explicit.
What?
Okay, everybody's doing the Matrix thing.
Okay, wait. Okay, a pop song. So, okay. Feel It Still is not explicit, right? I heard it before, but I don't think it's explicit.
One, Feel It Still. Okay,
Yeah.
then why don't we do that one?
No.
Don't worry, it won't be too loud. Oh wait,
Yeah, it'll be like
does the audio
back.
mess up over like WebEx?
I don't think it does. Or wait. Sorry. Yeah, it's very quiet.
Louder?
Yeah. Okay, that's like,
What?
it's glitching out. Like, not glitching, but it's like getting quieter and then softer.
How do we make an option to not listen to the music?
Mute the
That is
tab.
going to be very difficult because if you mute your Chromebook, then you can't hear the lesson. But if you don't mute it, Alex, when is the earplug shop open?
All right. So, Ishani, do you want to explain number one?
Okay.
Explain number one. Why are you calling me out? Okay, sure.
Sorry,
No,
I said
Ishani. Yeah, Ishani.
Okay, you know what? We can back
Number
down the
one, why
music.
are you calling me out? Okay, I'll do it.
Let's ditch the music. It's too distracting.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I'll explain this and then we can talk about the music later. Okay, so we do 2.54 multiplied by the entirety of this length, right? So we get 2.54. Okay, you can't see my decimal. 2.54 times, and then 4.05 plus 2.54 is 6.59, right? So 6.59 and then that is equal to, and remember it's equal to x plus 2.63, so x plus 2.63 multiplied by 2.63, right? So we divide both sides by 2.63. So times, okay, wait, times 2.63, right? So we divide both sides by 2.63. So first we have to add the right side, right? So 2.54 plus, and then 6.58, or 6.59, sorry, is 9.13. So we divide it by 2.63, right? And we get 3.47148289. We subtract 2.63 from both sides because now we have x plus 2.63 on the left side because we have divided on both sides by 2.63, right? So we do 3.47148289 minus 2.63, and that's approximately 0.84. Yeah, 0.84148289. Okay, wait, no. That does not sound right. Okay, sorry. Okay.
What did you get?
I got 0.8. That is not right. Let me redo
Yeah,
that.
the answer
Sorry.
should be somewhere around
4 or 3. Yeah.
3.7.
Yeah, it should. Okay, let me redo that. Sorry. Okay, so you do 2.63 times, okay, let me type this out also because that'll probably help me. Okay, so you do 2.63 times x plus 2.63 is equal to, and then 2.54 times 2.54 plus 4.08, which is equal to 6.59, right? 6.59.
4.05.
What?
It should be 4.05. Wait, hang on.
No, it's 2.54 plus 4.05.
Yeah, okay, sorry, you said something different.
Oh,
I got 3.73 for number one.
yeah,
that's
okay.
that's correct.
Yeah,
we're on
it
number
is.
2. I got 4.58.
Okay, it should not be 4.58. Okay, so you get 2.63 times, okay, wait, I think you can see my annotations on the screen, right? That's really bad, sorry. Okay, so, wait, are you able to move it, Yolanda? Sorry, like my
No.
annotations.
Oh,
Okay,
wait.
well,
Okay, never mind.
okay, yeah. Or I can say it out loud and you can type it, right? So you do 2.63 plus x times 2.63 on one side is equal to 2.54 is equal to 2.54 times 2.54 plus 4.05, which is equal to right, which is equal to 6.59, right? So you divide both sides by 2.63. So you divide both sides by 2.63.
Oh, no.
I think, yeah. Yeah, 2.63.
Okay.
And then
So
you,
said that.
okay, so 2.54 times 6.59 is equal to 16.7386. So you divide it by 2.63 and you get approximately 6.36444. And then you subtract 2.63 and then you get 3.73, right? So 3.73 is equal to x. So that is our answer. So 3.734486669 would be more accurate, but you get it.
Answer is about 3.73. Okay. So, make sure you guys are familiar with this. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to help you reference it, or just like scroll back here at any time. Yeah, that'd probably be easier. And make sure you don't get mixed up between the last two. So this one would be two secant segments. And then this one over here would be a secant segment and then like a tangent segment. So it doesn't actually go in the circle, it just goes along the outside. So that's how you would distinguish them. All right. And then you also had the opportunity to work on number 12, which is a problem that kind of combines a lot of concepts. that you might have that we've covered in these past couple of weeks. So the question asks us for the radius of this circle. So in order to find, sorry, let me find the pen. Okay, so in order to find the radius, we would need to know this side, so we can use, say, Pythagorean theorem. And then to find this side, we can note that this follows the pattern it follows this pattern right here, where one of the lines is like tangent to the circle. So we can use the equation a squared equals b times b plus c. All right. So then a would be that tangent segment. So here a would be 4 right here because that's the line that's tangent. So that'd be 4 squared, or 16, equals b times b plus c. So b would be this segment right here that's outside of the circle, which would be 2 right here. So 16 equals 2 times 2 plus c. If we divide both sides by 2, then we get 8 equals 2 plus c. So c equals 6. And c here on this problem would be this line right here. So this is 6. And then we know this is a right triangle because part of it is the diameter. So using the Pythagorean theorem, we know that this length right here is going to be 10. But the question asks us for the radius of this circle. So so the radius would be 5 because 5 is half of 10. So in these upcoming problems, basically you're going to have to see where you can apply power of the point and combine that with the other things you learned, say like last week or the week before that, in order to find what the question is asking for. So let's move on to question 13. All right, so everyone use the arrows to get the question 13, and we'll take a look at it. It tells you to find the length of line segment AC. And the tip is to first solve for AB. First solve for the length of AB, and then solve for the length of BC. And then when you add them together, you will get your final answer. All right, so go ahead and try this on your own. And look back to slide 9 if you're ever stuck.
Is the answer a whole number?
One moment. Let's see. Yeah, the answer is a whole number.
For the third power of a point, for the third power of a point equation thing, is A always the longer line?
A is always the line that's like tangent to the circle. So that's the one that's kind of run on the outside of a circle but doesn't intersect. So for example, I'll just give you guys a hint. So AB right here, this part would be A. Sorry, that's a horrible A. This part would be B, and this part would be C.
Wait, could you do on the other side? Like, would if you're doing it on the other side, would BC be A?
Yeah, exactly. So this would
Okay.
be A, and then B, and then C. So hopefully that.
For the one on slide 14, are we supposed to draw the circle, or is it just not showing up on my thing?
Yeah, it says you should practice like drawing the picture yourself.
Okay, just wondering because I didn't see a circle.
Did you get the answer for 13 yet?
I tried something. I'm like 90% sure.
All right. All right, nice job, Colin. You got the length of AB right. So I'm assuming you're probably solving for BC now.
Do you stop at question 13 or move on?
Okay, so I'll go ahead and explain 13 and then we'll move on. So we set up the formulas. Okay, it's not letting me click. So we set up the formulas A squared equals 2 times 2 plus 6, right? So then A squared equals 16. So A has to equal 4. And then A right here is the length of BC. The length of AB. And then for the opposite side, we have A squared equals 3 times 3 plus 9. So this is using the power of a point formulas. So then A squared equals 36. And then that means that the length of BC is 6. So the length of line segment AC would be 4 plus 6, which equals 10.
I actually was like 2 off.
So do you know like where you might have just messed up a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So this one, it's a pretty simple problem, but you just have to know how to draw the picture correctly. All right, so go ahead and attempt that on your own. You can just draw in this box. I'll give you 2 minutes for that. All right, Anushka, your picture was exactly right.
I thought the
Is
measurements
mine
were off. Like,
Is mine
really?
I think mine's a bit off.
We can take a look. So for yours, it's very close, but you should like label, say you should label C over here and then D over here, and like A over there.
I
and
thought
B.
mine was terrible.
Is that
What do you mean it's good?
close?
I cannot draw a circle to save my life.
All right, so Ishani, do you want to explain
I
this
don't think
problem?
anyone can like draw a perfect circle that's like 100% perfect.
I don't know.
Okay.
I've seen a YouTube video where someone draws a perfect circle on a blackboard.
Yeah, but like if you zoom in, the
That's
the
true.
marker microorganisms aren't perfect.
Yes, the smallest particle is out of line. Your circle is not perfect.
Okay, well, there's a perfect circle. Ishani
The
drew a perfect circle.
smallest micromolecule is out of line.
No, it actually looks like the slightest bit ovally.
It may be.
Yeah, that.
Okay. So we have circle O here, and this is line segment or the diameter of AB. So line segment CD is a chord of circle O, meaning that it just has endpoints on the circle, and it intersects AB at point E, right? So we can just label any point E, right? This doesn't have to be to scale. So AE is 4, right? And CE is 6, and EB is 9. Find the length of ED. So we can do 4 times 9 and we get 36, right? And then we know that that's equal to 6 times, and then we can just say ED is x, right? Is equal to 6x, right? So now we can just do 36 divided by 6 to find x, and we find 6 is equal to x. So ED is 6. That is our answer.
Wait, what?
The answer was 6. So we can do a Kahoot now. We can do one more problem and then do a Kahoot, and then, yeah. Okay, so this problem is find the area of the blue triangle. So make sure you're using PowerPoint, and yeah.
Circle looks like a stone on that one.
For this question, what would you do for the line intersecting the triangle? Would you do 3 times 6 times 2?
No, remember that you multiply. So you take this point. Okay, wait. Let me have the cursor. So you take this point. Okay, well that isn't working. Okay, so you take this point right here. Okay. So basically, you take the point and you have to take the side. You have to take 3, and you have to take 6 plus 2 as the other side length, right? Because the two distances that you're measuring are from that point to wherever the line that one intersects the circle, right? So you wouldn't do 3 times 6 times 2, but 3 times 6 plus 2, which is 3 times 8, and you will use that.
Okay.
Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. All right. So hopefully you saw like which parts you should do power of a point with.
Area, decimal, or whole number?
Wait, the Pythagorean theorem only works on right triangles, right?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. However, your voice is a little muffled.
Okay. Is it area whole number or a decimal?
Wait. I think it should be a whole number. Yes, it should be a whole number.
Wait, since this triangle, all of the points, all of the lines are in the circle, could you use the third power of points rule on it? Or like does the third power of point rule need like tangents or like lines out of the circle?
It needs to have lines outside of the for that. So, like this, like for this, wait, no. Yeah. So you would have to have A as this, like A as a tangent to a B as like a point on the circle to that point that's outside the circle, and then B plus C being a point on the circle is not the second point that it intersects that's further away from the point to the point. So yeah, it would have to have a point outside the circle.
So you would have to like make your own make your own lines for this question?
No, you would not. You have everything you need to solve this question right here.
You would only use this first one right here. That's the only one you need to use.
Okay, so should I just go ahead and explain? So we can get to the Kahoot.
Sure.
Okay, so we have a power of a point. So we have a point inside the circle, and we have chords, right? So we can multiply that. Okay, wait, let me use a. Okay, so we can multiply this whole length, or that length, by this length, right? And then we can multiply 6 times our unknown value, right, over here. So we can get 3 times, and then remember it'll be, okay, so it'll be, okay, wait, let me type this out, sorry. So it'll be 3 times, and then you have 6 plus 2 as this like maroon length, right? So that's equal to 8. So we have 24 is equal to, and then 6 times our unknown value, which we'll just say is x, right? So we can divide, okay, that is, you cannot see that. Okay, so you do 24 is equal to 6 times our unknown, right? So you divide both sides by 6, and you get 4 is equal to x, right? So that means that 4 is our yellow value. So we can just label that here, right? And then now we have to solve for this other side. So wait, let me label it. So now we have to solve for this side over here, which is in pink or red, right? So we can multiply that unknown by this value, which is 3, and then we can multiply this, which that like whole length by this value, right? And we'll be able to use power of point, right? So we can do 3 plus 6, which is 9, multiplied by, and then that value is 2, right? That blue value is 2, is equal to, and then we have x times 3, right? So we get 18 is equal, okay, wait, let me put that somewhere where you can see. 18 is equal to, okay, so 9 times 2 is equal to x times 3, right? So, okay, so we get 18 is equal to x plus 3. So that means that we have 18 divided by 3, which is 6, is equal to x. So that means that this value, sorry, that means that this value over here is 6, right? So what we can do now is, so we know that this is a right triangle, and we know this because the longest length is the diameter, and the other point is on the circle itself, right? And remember that any triangle which has a length of a diameter and has its third point on the circle has a right angle, right? So that means we can just multiply this blue length over here by this like maroonish length over here, and we will get the area of the circle, right, when we divide that by 2. So what we can do now is we do 6 plus 4, which is 10, times 6 plus, and that is 3, right? Yes.
Yes.
6. Yeah, okay. So that's 6 plus 3, which is 9, and then we divide it by 2 because it's a triangle, and we get 90 over 2, which is 45. So that means that the area of this entire triangle is 45. So I don't know how many of you got that. However, that was a hard problem. So remember whenever you're using power of a point, like to break it down if you're given complex problems like these.
I got 55 for the for the side on the triangle with the 6, I got 10 for that, and for the side on the with the 3, I got 11 for that. So I did 10 times 11 since it's the right triangle, and then I divided by 2, and I got 55.
You would have gotten 6 and 4 for this side, which is 10, and then you should have gotten so you should have gotten 9 times 2 over 3, which is 6, right? So you should have gotten 9 and or 10 and 9. I think you might have messed up adding the sides for this.
Yeah.
I think I just added the 2 because it looks kind of like it's on that side, but it's not. It's like that little black segment.
No, I think I messed up the powers of point.
Yeah, that could have also been it. As
Right.
long as you know for the future. All right, so we're going to be moving on and doing a Kahoot. So this will just cover a lot of the stuff we've learned. It's probably a bit easier than what we were doing in the Desmos. All right, so don't worry. It'll be fun.
Make sure, wait, Yolanda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you're having internet difficulties, you probably should have made it so it showed the questions on the screen. Because, like,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, don't join this one then. Am I having internet issues?
I mean, it, like, showed, like, you froze. for a
Yeah,
second.
kind of.
Oh.
Just
Okay, here we
check
go.
the first thing, yeah.
All right. So the pin is on the screen. Go ahead and join. It's almost Halloween, guys. So I think this.
I'm
Wait,
doing Halloween this year.
yes, Yolanda. If I missed Yolanda, I don't know.
Okay, Yolanda, you just froze for a second.
Yeah, they're laggy.
I'm not
Let's
doing it.
who is not true?
I think you can start it now.
Okay.
Oh, someone put not true.
Shri, I can't hear what you're saying.
Someone put not true.
Oh, did they? And it's not you? Interesting. Okay. Which two line segments must be congruent in this circle? All right, think back. This was the very first thing we did in the Desmos. Yeah, so the answer is DE and EB. So if you remember, this is a perpendicular bisector because we have a chord and then a line that runs through the center of the circle that bisects it. And there's a 90-degree angle formed. So that's why DE and EB are equal. Right, there are the rankings. Number 2, if DV has length 7, what is the length of DE? All right, good job. So this whole line segment DV is 7. It's divided into 2 equal sections. So DE is going to be half. That will be 2.5.
I can see how you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. All right, double points. If DB has length 16 and AE has length 6, what is the radius of a circle? So the hint is that you can draw an extra line to make this problem much easier. And so think about where you could draw that extra line. All right, I'll let it go for 10 more seconds. Okay, the answer here is 10. And the reason being you can draw a line from A to D, and then that makes a triangle. So the question tells you that AE is 6, and then DB is going to be 16, so DE will be 8. And this is going to be a right triangle, of course. So the hypotenuse will be 10. That's a horrible 10, sorry about that. And you can also see that that's the radius of the circle.
That looks like a fat pea.
It does. It's a horrible 10. Okay, Maleficent is in first place. Find the length of chord CD.
Shoot, I forgot to add the 3. Oh my gosh. I rushed.
I misclicked.
Yeah, this one's easy to mess up on. I can see why you would mess up. So
I just kind of slid the 6 over, slid this line over, and it was 6, and then it didn't. The only thing that seemed reasonable was 10 and 13, but it was way too small to be 10, so I just did 13.
well, you shouldn't
now
really
you're ahead of
miss
me.
sizes, because it doesn't have to be to scale. Sometimes the drawings are just
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm still 4 points behind you, Colin.
I got the
Yay.
wrong answer, but I misclicked, so I got it correct.
That's
Yeah,
one way to do it.
I got
Okay. So to do this problem, it's the first formula that we saw on slide 9, if you remember that. So 5 times 6 equals 3 times ED. So 30 equals 3 times ED. ED is 10, but I'm sure as many of you know, you can't just, the question's not asking for ED, it's asking for CD. So 3 plus 10 is 13.
Balloon.
Balloons.
Colin, is that yours?
Okay, solve for X.
I got it wrong!
Stop speaking dead into the microphone. Nobody wants to hear that.
I think it's about time I opened the earplug shop.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Guessing.
Dude, I was trying to do the math, and I was getting a calculator, but the time ran out.
Which is why I guess.
But I'm 558 points behind the loose.
I'm 580 points behind Colin when I was this close to catching up with him.
Okay, so for this one, you would use that one formula where, so you know this line is a tangent line, so you would use a squared or x squared equals 3.5 times 3.5 plus 14. And then, yeah, you would calculate that out.
I just randomly guessed 7 for no reason. I saw 3.5. I only saw 2 numbers. Actually, one number. 3.5. So I just squared it. Let's square it.
Right. What is power elevation mostly used for? I hope you guys get this one.
I think it's green, guys. I think it's green.
It has to be, right? Don't put green. If you put green, that will make me and Ashani very sad.
It's to find out who's the point president.
Someone,
7 has to be earplugs.
yes, power point is used to find the length of line segments. You might have gotten that to that answer by knowing that we never did anything with angle measures in today's lesson. We never did anything relating to yellow or green either.
But green was kind of funny for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't misclick because I have a 99% feeling that I misclicked. No, yes, I did.
Whoa. Whoa.
No,
Dude, I was just
Okay.
about to get this.
The answer was actually wrong.
Yeah.
So basically, okay, what you were supposed to do is you were supposed to find, so 24, and 10. So we know that, this has to be a right triangle because these 2 points are, this whole, line is the diameter, right? So that means you should have used Pythagorean theorem, and you would have gotten 26 for the entire diameter, right? So you did 26 divided by 2, which is 13, and then you should have squared that and then multiplied it by pi, then you would have gotten 169 pi as your answer. However, this question was messed up. So, yeah. That's why everyone got it wrong.
This is stupid. I think you guys should make the Kahoot times longer next time.
What was this? What's this?
If O is in the center of the circle, what is the degree measure of angle X?
Okay, so
Oh God, I just messed up big time.
okay, something is definitely wrong with this computer. I'm clicking one thing, and hopefully it's not the other thing. I have really good feeling that I clicked the other thing. What the heck?
Sounds like every single day from Charlie
I
Brown.
think this is a very dumb idea, but I chose cannot be determined.
I'm pretty sure that's the answer.
I hope
It's the
it
same
is.
thing as that 100 problem we did last week.
What is this? I don't know. Actually, did I get that? Did I? Yes,
Oh my
yes,
God, I was right.
All right, so for
no,
this one, the information that,
It was dumb.
okay, so O is the center of the circle, so this is the diameter, which tells you that this right here is a right angle. And from there, you know that this, you know that 64 plus 90 plus this angle right here equals 180. So this angle has to be 26. And then this is something we learned before, but 26 and x are both, they both are on this minor arc right here, so they're going to have the same angle measure. So x, that's why x is also 26. Okay. Next question. If O is the center of the circle, find the degree measure of angle P.
I'm big brain speed. Because it is literally the same question.
is it?
Okay.
I got amazing.
So basically,
I'm not
You got
big
it
brain
wrong?
because I got this wrong. I was the one person who said red.
I got it right. Take the Elenushka.
okay,
Shut
so
up.
degrees is that angle, and remember that since angle P is an inscribed angle which has the same points, endpoints for its sides, as the angle with degree 49 degrees, as with the measure 49 degrees, we can tell that P is equal to this angle, which is 49, meaning 49 degrees.
Also, did anyone get prove the 100 angle right?
It was 101.
It was a trick question. You can't prove it right because 100's not right.
Yeah.
But my dad told me 100. My dad told me 101 was right.
Yeah, 101 is right.
And I said 101 first.
All right. What is the sum of the degree measures of angle BAC and CDB?
This is just basic triangle knowledge.
I think that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, this is just basic triangle knowledge. Both of those
Well-
are triangles, and every triangle's angles add up to 180.
Well, it's also a cyclic quadrilateral.
Yeah, but it's also a 30, 60, 90 right triangle.
Well, it's
You
also
wouldn't be able to determine that it is a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. However, you would, so you could have done it two ways. You could have known that this was a cyclic quadrilateral and therefore opposite angles have to sum to 180 degrees. Or you could tell that BC is the diameter, so angle A has to be 90 degrees and angle D has to be 90 degrees, right? Because they're points on the circle, and BC, the other side of the triangle, is the diameter, right? So you could have done
Anushka, it has nothing to do with triangles, I think.
yeah, it's not basic triangle knowledge.
Oh, dang it. But that's what I based it off of, and it was right, so.
But I just don't know how or why.
Okay, find the area of quadrilateral ABDC.
Okay, now this is just basic geometry.
This is basic.
True.
Right.
Okay.
This is basic geometry.
I'm
Please don't.
getting that wrong. Imagine choosing cannot be determined.
Gets this wrong.
Nothing's wrong.
Anybody gets this wrong, take 5 points away from them.
Exactly.
So
It's 0 put negative pi.
this is
Or
90 degrees. So 10 times 6 is 42.
Whoever creates these Kahoots, you should put question where cannot be determined is actually right for once, because like no one ever chooses it and it'd throw everyone off.
No, or if you do choose cannot be determined, then it's wrong.
All right, point O is the center of the circle. So find the measure of angle CAO.
I think it's 25 because they said so.
And I think it is 25 because I'm in 4th place with 25 as my answer.
And I accidentally multiplied by 2 for no apparent reason.
But Anushka, did you beat me?
Am I
Yes.
still on the podium?
Yes, I did.
I'm off the podium.
Okay, so remember that this is an isosceles triangle.
And getting 5th place.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in 4th place right now.
Okay, so remember that this is an isosceles triangle, and this angle measure that's blue is 130 degrees. That means that the angle we're trying to find, an angle C summed to 180 minus 130, which is 50, right? And that would mean that we have to divide by 2 because we know it's an isosceles triangle, and we can get 25 as our answer. So good job to everybody who got that.
All right, we'll do 2 more questions.
I'm in 2nd.
Bunch is bad.
I said 80 because it looks like a 90-degree angle, only a little bit off.
I know. And also, I think as like thinking about a rule where like 2 times a degree is like a different degree. So I just went with the flow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So remember that 2 times of the measure of an inscribed angle is equal to the measure of the angle when its vertex is in the center if it has the same endpoints, right? So we just do 40 times 80. Make sure that you don't like base your answers based off what it looks like, because you can get it wrong really easily. Like, and also sometimes the pictures are actually not to scale.
Yeah, see, Anushka, like that was like the rule or whatever I was thinking about. And how am I in second place? Oh my gosh, I'm actually getting points.
Find the angle measurement of
Last
your bed.
question.
Okay, can I go measure my bed?
Last question, make it count. Find the measure of angle BED.
Guessed it right again. Let's go.
No, I remember that opposite angles of
bed.
no, I remember
Okay.
that opposite
So-
angles are always equal to 180. So I said 40.
Right. So it'd be 180 minus 140 because this is a cyclic quadrilateral, so opposite angles sum to 180, as she said. So we would get 40 or red as our answer.
It was in the last 10 seconds. I just
What's the
can't
podiums?
see anything.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh,
I beat you, Anush.
Anushka, good job,
And
Colin.
now this is the week of me saying, imagine guessing on a Kahoot and getting second place and getting third place. Okay, who's
Bruh.
1%?
Good job to the runners up as well.
you.
Who's actually Maleficent? Seriously, who's that?
It's probably Shawnee.
Probably
She's the one
Johnny. So Colin, good job in getting first place.
Speaking of,
Yay!
I'm not sure that it's
Oh, no.
probably Shawnee because she hasn't said she's snickering, she's smiling.
Yeah, it's Anushka. I mean, Ashani. And
It's me.
Ashani admitted.
Colin's
Trying to frame us.
homie work. Homie or
Yes, you guys have homework
10 out of 10.
due next week.
homie.
Okay. So check.
We have Crowim. Oh.
What? Where'd you get that? Oh.
All right. So that concludes our lesson. Hope you guys learned something today.
Wait,
And yeah, feel free to leave.
I have a question. If like Ashani gets first and like someone else gets second, well, since Ashani is technically not in the rankings, I guess, would the second place person get the first place credits?
No comment on that because how do you know Ishani was first place? You have no proof.
How do we not know Ashani's in first place?
I
No one
Googled-
else has speaked up, and Ashani's smiling right now. Look at her camera.
Maleficent is obviously a real
Plus,
person.
if it's not fair that Ishani gets points because she can just give herself all the points.
Exactly.
Rest assured, the
She
points
made
Give
will
herself
be
100 points if
distributed.
she wants to.
That is true because she made the Kahoot and she knows all the answers.
I
Yeah.
actually didn't
Exactly.
make
That's
the
another
Kahoot.
reason.
Amy
I wonder
made-
how she got 2 wrong if she made the Kahoot.
There was a question that was messed up though. So
True.
okay, points will be distributed fairly. Don't worry, you guys. Don't
All
worry.
right.
Is
Did I
he
get
alone?
first place? Yeah. Bye.
Hoping at the end of this semester,
Bye,
you're gonna
everyone.
tell us who the heck is all
Expect
these
you,
weird
Colin.
names.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yay.
Okay, ending the recording. Hang on. Stop sharing.